Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And I'm here today to work through two tangles. So we're on days 23 and 24 of the Inktober tangles. And I thought it would be interesting to combine these two um, because we have Qurtuba. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, but I'm going to say Qurtuba by Aida Rico Mon, CZT. And then we also have Letterish by Jody Genovese, CZT. Interesting combination here. We're going to do this one as a border. It can be like a ribbon. And then we're going to fill our center with the Letterish. Um, And those of you who followed me for a while know that I find it very challenging to work with the abstract type of tangles. So we will do our best. For this project, I'm going to use a Zendala. I also have something round to draw circles with. Um, this tape is just perfect because if I draw on the outside, I get a diameter of 4 inches, and on the inside, it's about 3 inches in diameter. I also have a black pen, a number 2 pencil, a tortillon, and some metallic gel pens for color, but you could use other ink colors or colored pencils or not use color. All right, let's get started. So, since it's a Zendala, I am going to need some circles here. Let me just put my gel pens to the side here. So, I have my tape, which is just perfect to get that inside circle, which is a 3 inches in diameter. And then I have the outside, which is about 4 inches in diameter. I'm just doing the pencil marks. If you have a compass or another tool to make circles with, that's perfect. And you don't have to use the same dimensions that I used, but yeah, you can experiment if you want the circles thinner, closer together, or wider. So that's up to you. Once I have this, I'm going to kind of mark off kind of like a clock. So we would have like 12 and 6. I'm just guesstimating here. And then we would have a 3 and a 9 roughly. And you kind of want to guess where 1 and 2 are going to be. And then I'm going to just rotate around. And then we have our 3 already. So then we have kind of like a 4 and a 5. We have our 6 and like a 7 and an 8. I think the 7 would be more over there. And we have our 9, and then we have a 10 and 11, and we're back to our 12. All right, so adjust the light a little bit. Now I'm going to take my pen, and the first thing we want to do is draw in curves. So I'm going to start at the top here. And I'm kind of aiming for the middle in between these two. If it helps you to mark that, you can kind of go right ahead. Um, so for example, between these two would be roughly here. I don't usually mark it. I just kind of wing it. Um, come back up and get your point there. And we're just going to go around. It's a little bit tight, but it's okay. And then other places there's a little bit more room. It just kind of depends on how we put our marks in there. You are going to have to rotate a bit. Come back down and go back up to where we started. So it's pretty even, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then our next step is to come in and I'm going to work on the inside here first. So you're kind of retracing your steps here, but you're going to come into like Brita. I'm going to make that kind of pronounced in there. So I think that's kind of pretty. And I'm just going to work on the insides right now. This does have quite a few steps, so we're just going to go slowly, step by step. And if you've downloaded your packet, you can easily click on the names of the tangles, and it'll take you to step outs, which is really helpful. So a big thank you to Stephanie Jennifer for putting that together and including those links so you don't have to go searching for step outs. All right, made it all the way around. We're back to where we started. And then we're also going to do that on the outside too. So now I'm going to do all of the outside ones. And you can, of course, rotate the paper to an angle that is easier for you. I'm just kind of going in the opposite direction. But if you prefer to turn it this way, for example, and go in like this, you could do that too. So there's always different options. Do whatever works best for you. And just keep going one step at a time. And then before you think about it, you're back to where you started. So that's really, really cool. So now we're going to go ahead and fill in there are these cute little they're teardrops, but they're also like leaves. So you want three if you can fit them in. They're very tiny. So depending on how much space you have, you might have only two. And I don't see any problem with that. I'm going to leave that two just to demonstrate. They are tiny. I'm gonna leave that one as two. Don't have a lot of space there. So yeah, I'm kind of just deciding based on space. That one can also be two. All right. So then we also have on the inside, we want to also put these in. So that's going to be a little bit tinier. I'm just rotating through. So this is a very delicate, dainty tangle with lots of curves and lots of details. All right, we made it around like that. And then we are going to add another detail, which is a little tiny little orbs. And there is another detail for these little leaves, but I'm going to add color. If you're not adding color, let me find one that has a lot of space. So with this one, for example, if you're not adding color, you would go in with your black pen and just add that type of detail to all of the little leaves. But because I'm adding color, I'm going to skip that part. All right, we need little orbs now for these. So it matches with the ones on the inside. And we're all the way around. And some of you, if you're looking at the step out, you might see extra circle lines for an even wider ribbon or border. I just decided not to do that because I wanted this very delicate and it looks a lot more organic without those extra circle lines. All right, so I am going to now do something a little different. So instead of the rounding in the step out, I'm going to come in here and put a slightly larger orb than these ones. And then I'm going to ink in this area. So skipping the rounding and doing these tiny little orbs or perfs, if you want to call them that, and then inking in that space there. And then I'm also going to do that on the inside too. So I'm going to start up at the top here. So again, I'm not rounding, I'm just putting in these little orbs and then inking in. It's like a triangles kind of left over there. So we've got a lot of great detail now that we've got those inked in. We've got some of that darker ink in there, so it looks really pretty. Um, Now what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be adding some color, but I'll do that at the very end. So I'm going to put in some auras so that we can use the center space for the next tangle. So we're just going to come in here and put in an aura around everything on the inside here. Like that. And then we're also going to do that on the outside here. That. So it's our border is nicely defined. And then you can pick where you want kind of your top to be. I'm just going to go with that because it's pretty well distributed. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go in with my pen, but if you want, you could do some guidelines in pencil if you would like. Let's do that because this is our a first time of doing this for a lot of people. So I've got my pencil and I'm just going to draw, I'm going to do a line. And then I'm going to draw another one, but I'm not going to do a parallel line. I'm going to come in and kind of have it wider on the right, more narrow on the left. But then I'm going to do the opposite, have it wider on the left and more narrow on the right. Let's see, one, two, three, four. I don't know. I guess we could put in the top of the next one, but it wouldn't really matter. So I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm going to take my pen again. I'm just going to go over those lines. So yours might be a little different, but we're alternating the narrow and the wide. Like that. And then we're going to come in and make sections to put our letterish sort of letters in there. They're abstract shapes, but some of them could be letters. So again, I went with wider at the bottom, going up to a more narrow type of situation. I'm going to put one and do that again, like here. Then I'm going to alternate that and do something like that. And then you can also, if you want to do like a parallel line type of thing, you could. So we have something like that. Yours might look a little different. There's no right or wrong to that, but it is a lot of kind of odd angles in there. I think the goal is that they're not all the same. All right, so once we have that, we can kind of make our letters, but they're actually like um, random letters. I don't know if that makes sense. They could be letters, but a lot of them are not letters. I'll just put it that way. So you might, for example, let's work in like this area. You might come up with first what I like to do actually is round the corners. That helps me a little bit with this one. So I come in and round the corners. And then you might want to have something like that. So I'll show you different options that you can do. We're just doing something random like that. So I mean, it could be a letter. It's kind of like an M, sort of. This is kind of a half one over here, so I'm going to just finish that around the corners. And maybe it's just like filled in the center. So again, it could be a letter. Let's go over here on this side. Just rounding. So for this one, I'm just going to come in with we'll do three. So again, that could be a letter. It could be like an E, but maybe it's not. So let's round this off. So for me, it definitely helps to round things off. And maybe this time we do want something that's like a letter. So you're just filling in random shapes inside your little spaces here, um, but not being consistent with always putting in the same shape. So if that makes sense, just kind of trying to explain it to myself. These are definitely abstract, meant to be abstract. All right, so I have something like that. And then I'm going to come in and just round off these corners here. Well, one corner. We could put, maybe go with two here. All right. Round this off. And let's come in here. This would be a little rounded off too. We're missing a little bit of that corner. Down here and going like that. And then I am going to look for my 30 to help fill this in. Oops, I've got the one. Not a graphic one. Hold on. There we go. That's better. So some of these areas, if you have a wider black pen available, that would be an awesome alternative. Okay, that's better. I'm gonna go over this area a little bit. Gonna touch that up. Okay. So I'm being deliberate with a few of them, just so that we can see some real letters in there. Um, so we've got our abstract letters, and then we've got our letters. We've got this little half one over here. So maybe we just want to put in one of these shapes again. All right. And then this one is going to be, for me, I come in more as a point. Put in a corner of one here. And maybe that's just got one black area in the center. Again, it can be whatever you would like it to be, because it's letter-ish. So I'm gonna, with this one, come down this way this time. Got a corner over here. And then we're gonna turn this last one, you probably guessed already, into a U. Well, as much of a U as we can. It's not a full section. Right, so we've got that. And then we have that area on the top that are kind of little pieces. So we're just going to randomly put something in. All right, so we have our letterish inside here with a little secret message in there. I love you. So you can definitely combine letterish letters with random letterish pieces. All right, so that's cool. I'm going to do some shading really quickly. Let's start on the inside here, going along these areas. So all the way around that, the inside here. You could, if you wanted to, add color to to your letters if you wanted to. I'm just going to shade them. So I'm just kind of calling attention to these with the shading. Like that. So I only put the shading in the actual message ones. All right, and then for in our Qurtuba, I am just going to be really simple and kind of go in with I'm going to do these first. And then I'm going to go back in and get these. And we still have to add a touch of color, so that is coming up. And of course, some shading along the outside here. Don't have a lot of space. All right. So now I'm going to take my tortillon and I'm going to blend these out. Here, if you want to add shading to the other letter-ish sections, feel free. That. And then I have all these areas. And then our outside. All right, like that. And then I am going to add some um, gel pen. So the area where I'm going to go back to that one where I added the two lines in my leaves. So if you're not adding gel pen, you would have done that in the black ink. I'm going to go ahead and go over that with my green. I always do the gel pen last because it's very easy to smear. All the way around, I'm going to get these ones that are even smaller, that are on the inside. Like that. So I have a little bit of green. And then I'm going to go in with the red one for these tiny ones. I think I got all of those. And then I have the kind of copperish one for the larger ones. So just a little hint of color, but I think that's really nice with this one. I think I have them all filled in. Still, that looks really sweet, very cute. And now I'm going to take my pen and put in my initials, my chop. Um, my gel pen's still a little wet. So let's see, where would I like to add? Where would I like to add them? Hmm, this is kind of an interesting dilemma where to put my initials. I think I'm just gonna tuck it in. Oh goodness. I'm gonna put it in with the letterish here, like that. All right, how cute is that? I love it. Okay, I'm going to gently turn this over because I can tell it's still a tiny bit wet. Put it flat. Put my name, and it is the 26th already. But it's our Inktober Tangles, and we're on day 23 and day 24. So we have Qurtuba by Aida Rico Mon, CZT, and day 24 was Letterish by Jody Genovese, CZT. So thank you, Ida and Jody, for these two very new tangles to me, but they go surprisingly well together on this Zendala. So fun project. You've got all that drama in here with the very delicate border, and the shading gives it some depth. So play around with that, have some fun with it. Let me know how it goes for you. Um, and this was a longer video, so I hope you take your time with it. You can always stop it and do half one day and half the next day. So I will see you soon, probably for the next one, which is Ing by Zentangle. That's always a fun one. Another classic. So looking forward to that. All right, have a great day. And remember, I love you guys, which is in the hidden message there. All right, take care. Bye bye.